Yo!
Hey, look at me.
Oh, looks like we got an audience.
I'm getting good at this.
Look at Winston!
In the groove.
Turret online.
Yo! I need that as my profile picture.
Piece of cake.
Alright, Overwatch 2 is coming. Crappa. I've already given up on it, boys. I was very optimistic. Anything? Oh, that mouse pad looks pretty poggers though. Wait, what is this? I don't want the behind the scenes. Give me a cinematic. Give me a new hero. There's no way.
Welcome everybody to BlizzCon.
Jeb?
We know that you all want to hear more about Overwatch 2.
Yes.
Allow us to invite you behind the scenes to explain more of what we're doing and why.
Everybody, please hit record. Fingers crossed.
We lost Scott.
It's off to a good start.
This is going great.
We've been assembling one of the best teams that I have ever worked with.
I'm nervous.
And I'm so proud of the progress that we have made together.
Brian Chu?
We really liked the stylized drop down.
Imagine that it's coming forward, boom, boom. This starts to spin.
The
Boom,
scale
boom. Now
and
give me
scope of
Overwatch
this game
2,
have meant that we've needed
please.
to grow substantially.
We have to. Sorry. Let me start. Overall, I think we've done incredibly well as a team moving to work from home.
Oh, shadow play.
There have definitely been challenges, but the team is really putting everything we've got behind this game.
To me, it's the next big step
I believe in
the
you guys.
Overwatch universe. New heroes, game modes, major story beats.
With competitive and PvE, I see Overwatch 2 as the Overwatch for all of my friends.
You know, we're always inspired by what story and franchise development does with the animated shorts. We really wanted to bring that cinematic experience into the game.
You can invest in your heroes and grow them over time.
Ooh.
I'm super geeked out about Overwatch 2.
I can't wait for people to play this game. It just gets better and better.
Yeah,
There
we
are
can't
some
either.
things that we just can't do without a sequel. So thank you so much for your patience so far, and I hope you enjoy this behind-the-scenes look at
Jeff,
Overwatch
do not
2.
debate me here, man. Do not debate me here. Yo,
All of our
Mythic, how
players
many
at home, they want to see
how many
one of
people
the
are
new
watching
maps
XQC
that
right
we've
now?
never talked about before.
Really, I can just like,
Imagine playing the game.
I can just talk about anything that I want to.
Yes.
You're serving this up to the guy that is like unintentionally leaked information in past interviews.
You can do it officially now.
Okay, so one of the maps that I'm most excited
90K,
for
holy,
in Overwatch 2
90.6
is our Rome
Jesus.
map.
Guys, that means if people are watching that much of XQC and Overwatch,
globe-trotting
people are
adventure
not
for our players.
they're not
So
dead
we're having a lot of fun
on Overwatch
coming up
yet.
with the
It's not-
Overwatch version of Rome.
We wanted a very
romantic sort of this powerful feeling
Even
of
if people are
old
trolling in
world
the chat.
architecture. One of the most exciting things for me is the early
Holy.
building of these maps, where we get to sit down together with key people from the environment team, level designers, effects groups. We'll spend some time talking about moments in the game that we really want to see, like the Colosseum or a grand view of the hills of Rome in the backdrop. And then we'll go back and do a paint over, or we'll do a concept
Yo,
painting of
Gabby,
certain
this
things
is what you
based
gotta
on
do,
that.
dude.
We try to draw inspiration from
This
as
is
many
crazy.
different sources as possible. For example, one of our environment artists had just taken a trip to Rome, and he returned with thousands of pictures and was so excited to work on a map set in Italy.
There's a lot of ancient architecture in Rome that represents the empire that it used to be. So we brought some of that back. Some of the things that are destroyed in real life, we kind of rebuilt in a kind of an Overwatch style.
It's one of the most beautiful pieces of environment art that I think we've
Holy.
made for the entire game, and it just absolutely took my breath away.
Rome confirmed, boys.
Can we reveal more maps?
That's pretty, dude.
Yes, Scott. Scott, why don't you have the honor? Why don't you reveal, like, is there an artified, like, let's pick an artified one.
I know what map I want to talk about. It's the one that I just get super excited about. New York City. Ooh! New York City is just an amazing Overwatch location.
We're really striving to make it as authentic as possible while still putting this Overwatch spin on it.
There's a lot of amazing buildings and architecture pieces that just, especially for artists, stands out a lot.
Champ. Hell yeah, dude.
We started
awesome.
in an area that's a little bit like the village. There's some smaller shops there. There's a fire station, little pizza places, and things that people that are familiar with New York City will either recognize or maybe see the reference that we're trying to make with some of our different locations. It feels like something you haven't seen in other games before because it's uniquely
Spider-Man.
Overwatch.
True, guys.
Well, we should move on. Otherwise, we just have to reveal more maps.
Yeah.
We were talking about PvP.
We're good with that, Jeff.
And you know, one
Spider-Man
thing
Easter
that I
egg.
think is really interesting about
hilarious.
PvP in Overwatch 2 is some of the philosophical changes we're making to the approach.
PvP feels different and new. We're upgrading our combat feel. The roles are playing differently. When it comes to all new maps, it's a pretty big departure from where we are on live.
Turned on, yo. Oh, the visual effects.
We're also
the
experimenting
updates,
with the idea we call role passives, which are passive abilities that a hero can have based on what role they are. For example, currently in our internal builds, the tank heroes all have knockback reduction against them, and they also generate less ultimate charge for enemies that are shooting at them.
Ooh.
Damage dealing heroes have a movement speed bonus, which is great for flanking around the map.
Zarya DPS now?
Healing heroes, support heroes have automatic healing that kicks in after they haven't taken damage for a while. Very
I
similar
like
to Mercy's
that.
passive, but a little bit of a lower rate.
One of the more shocking changes that we've been exploring in Overwatch 2 PvP is to change the tank role entirely. That's applied to all of the tanks. We want to try to make them more toe-to-toe brawlers and less characters that just stand back and protect other people.
So, for example, for Reinhardt, we've given him 2 charges of Fire Strike, so he can throw Fire Strikes a lot more aggressively and more often. Also, his charge, he's able to cancel it now, and you can steer it more aggressively, so you can, you know, not quite turn a corner, but you can definitely more accurately pin targets. And because you can cancel it, it allows you to use it much more aggressively and, you know, really go after those key targets without feeling like you're going to sacrifice, you know, all of your positioning, everything to get there. He's almost more terrifying now with this, to be able to unleash his full arsenal more often than kind of just being the guy with a shield.
The changes to Reinhardt that we're trying, and they might not ship, that's just the reality, but the changes that we're trying right now are to try to embrace more of that instinct that players have when they want to play a big burly character that looks aggressive and feels like it should be aggressive.
Shortly after BlizzCon,
single-handedly
we
revived
spun up
main
this
tank.
group, our
Dude, with
combat
that
field group,
update alone,
to really just work on
I may play
what
takedown.
happens
Reinhardt.
when a player holds the trigger.
We're putting a ton of
Too
effort
easy.
into
Yeah, this is interesting.
looking at all of our characters and trying to give them even a more visceral weapon feel.
From sound to VFX to animation to the design of these units, all new sounds for a lot of our weapons in the game, and a whole new sound system that's driving it. And we didn't just level up a unit, we leveled up the rest of the game.
When we first started working on Overwatch, we
Yo,
spent quite a bit of time
Soldier.
working on gunfire
Holy.
sounds and just general combat feel to make it feel really awesome. We're revisiting pretty much everything. Nothing's off the table, so we're looking at even kind of small things such as quick melee attacks that every hero has. So they have kind of new audio pass and a new kind of feel and visual effect when you hit things.
Oh, that
Another key for
sound
the
though.
weapons was getting
That's a
them to
clean
feel like they're
sound.
in the environment.
That
This
felt
meant
good in the
working
ear.
with Convolution Reverb. It's a new system that we've implemented into Overwatch. It's a way that we can capture the acoustics of an environment and transport it onto the sounds that we're using. So we went and captured tales of guns in different environments through our weapon shoots. and then we've cut them and applied it so
on
we
the
can
same,
support
bro. Do
a
you
lot
hear
more
this? That was
environments.
crisp.
Now we're supporting outdoor, urban outdoor, warehouse tails,
That was so fun to shoot IRL.
tight tunnels, small rooms, and it gives a lot more presence to the weapons and the way that they react in the world.
Also with how the gun
This is why it's
moves
taking
as
so
you
long,
shoot.
yep.
You know, so you can really feel every single shot.
They wanted to
within
get
each
it
chamber.
right. That's what
And
it
there's a lot of
is.
subtle little
Look at
tweaks you
that.
have to do
Yes, sir.
on the gameplay engineering side to make that feel really visceral. Everything from making sure that the camera shakes are crisp, making sure that if you get shot, you know exactly these tight indicators show up on the outside of your reticle. All these things play into making the game feel not just tight and responsive, but also modern and up to date.
You guys got a sneak peek of Sojourn from last BlizzCon. She's been under development for quite a while, and she's actually quickly at this point become a lot of people's favorites in-house. When we look back at Overwatch when it was originally created, there was a lot of heroes that were made from a gameplay standpoint kind of surrounding a weapon type. For example, Pharah was based on a rocket launcher hero. Widowmaker is clearly like kind of the sniper. We thought there was a weapon that was kind of missing that would be a lot of fun to play with, and that's a railgun. It's so much fun in the playtest to have this really powerful shot that can, rip through enemies if you really are accurate with it. And she's all about that aim skill. So if you got that aim skill, you'll love her.
We're still exploring new game modes, and we're also reevaluating older game modes that people are more critical of. We're of the
2CP?
mindset
Any 2CPers in the chat?
Maybe 2CP doesn't exist in Overwatch 2, and maybe there's a new cool game mode that replaces it. We really want Overwatch 2 to feel like the next evolution, a true sequel to the first game, not an add-on. It's not a small part. It's not an extension of the original game. This is an evolution and a replacement to the original game, and I think it's exciting.
It's a huge challenge for the art team. We take maps that
Looks really
a lot of
good.
people love and
This looks
recognize,
amazing.
and we have to add a lot more art and level design to it.
Yo, this is
In this
really
one
cool.
Hero Mission playtest, we came up to an area in Kings Row that usually has a
That's
gate
really cool.
on it. Suddenly that gate
This is a good learning
opened,
tool.
and
Yeah,
I saw
yeah,
a new
absolutely.
area of Kings Row that I had never seen before.
You may be playing a payload game type, and the payload may decide to take this new route instead of going the usual route.
That was really, really cool. It was like this eye-opening special moment.
Lan, our lead tech artist on the environment side, very early on her own free time, made a prototype of
On
a
your free
sandstorm
time, I'm just
on the
gonna make a
Temple of Anubis
sandstorm
map.
And
on
at
my
the time,
free
we didn't know
time.
what we wanted to do with that, but it looked awesome.
That is
we looked
awesome.
at it and went, oh my God, we absolutely have to do this.
So we put some new technology in place that allows us to do this dynamically. You start the mission off, clear day. Midway through the mission, suddenly this sandstorm or heavy weather would show up.
It made the world just feel so much more alive.
There's a sunset, daytime, nighttime, but depending on where you are in the world, these look different. California or Hollywood would have what we call a California sun. In New Bonnie, there's a great African sun that happens there. You start to get a sense of space and mood. This is what really brings the levels to life.
For me, the dynamic world's exciting.
This is
just seeing
insane.
these dramatic landscapes, the wind and the atmosphere blowing by. It's a much more cinematic experience for the player.
Before you start a mission, you look at a map. It's nighttime in Necropolis, or there's a sandstorm in Necropolis. Players can make some comp choices based on knowing this information. Characters like Hanzo or Widowmaker start to be a little more valuable because they have abilities that allow them to see through the sand more clearly.
At BlizzCon in 2019, we started to talk about progression, and we showed the very early version of our talent system, which I think was really cool. We had that one talent where like Meg became the rolling snowball, which was
I did not see that one.
We've really blown that system out.
I'm real excited about talents. You can play the same hero in so many different ways. Now with the skill tree, you can have fun every night doing different things and kind of experimenting.
Yeah, the talent system is like really deep and rich, and
that's like the
every
old
single
World of
hero
Warcraft
has
talent system.
different trees. You might open up 76's
Overwatch is
tree,
hot now.
and as you're
Fuck.
leveling,
Yo, this is
and
exactly
picking
how
new
World of
talents,
Warcraft talent
you're
tree
starting
used to
to
be.
feel your hero change. We've had some pretty hilarious versions of the healing one where his biotic field travels with him. It also repulses enemies. We called it the snowplow build, where 76 is like running through spaces, pushing enemies away from them.
Designing these is super fun because it's like we get to break all the rules that we've sort of established for ourselves, and we get to really take the gloves off.
Imagine
and do
a
crazy
BRMO with a
things
separate
like
custom character.
jump
Dude,
out
that'd
and
be actually
dual-wield
pretty
grenade
dope.
launchers, and we've had
I'm
Mercy
here
be
for
able
that.
to area effect res their whole team at once at super long range through walls. It's been a ton of fun, kind of like mad scientists making all this stuff.
You're all used to using these kind of kinetic weapons,
Yeah, it's
like
PvE,
Soldier
who cares?
76's rifle.
Make it
or
as broken
fire
as possible.
Attack, like what Reinhardt's Flame Strike does. As soon as you start to mutate these things with talents, all of a sudden maybe you're doing freeze damage or electrical damage. But it gives the animators a bunch of crazy opportunities. You know, the animations are going to change to show them freezing and shattering. And if you shock someone with a lightning attack, they can shake in place and stun, maybe chain to other enemies. All sorts
That
of stuff
should
to
be-
make you feel like you're controlling the battlefield in novel ways.
As a huge RPG nerd myself, the first time I opened up the talent tree systems, it was like, oh my gosh, this is speaking my love language. Like,
As
I
long
just
as this
want to
doesn't
plan,
bleed into
and I
PvE.
want to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
like, where I
it
want to
definitely
invest,
won't.
how am I going to play this
This is all
character.
PvE.
Yes, it's so great. And you start at the bottom of the tree. Like,
Yes,
oh my.
exactly.
But
like,
this is the thing,
Tracer
guys.
gets to do what?
If the talent tree
And then you
was
start
in
working and
PvP,
kind of planning
I
how
wouldn't be
you're
mad
gonna
if they
get down
balanced
there.
it
It's
right.
like,
Because then it'd be
so
a
fun.
true MOBA FPS like how they originally announced this game.
More
Yo.
engaging. And some of this was adding new units and evolving other units that we had.
Interesting combat for us is varied combat for us. So sometimes we're going to ask you to protect something in Overwatch 2. Sometimes we're just going to ask you to get someplace. Sometimes we might ask you to escort something across a map while it's being attacked. And so it's a different type of spawning, and it's a different type of units that are in there, and it's a simpler objective.
There's a lot of units Aaron is talking about. Lots of different units, lots of different types. They serve different purposes. You do different things to them. It's really going to help a lot of us find the fun and make sure that Overwatch 2 is a blast.
One of those sets of enemies is what we internally call objective units. And they're typically units that don't even attack players. The simplest version would be something like the Breacher.
It's two legs with this huge bomb on its back. It was built to do one thing: slowly and methodically march towards its objective, and then it transforms, and the bomb opens up like a flower.
Oh, look at
starts
this!
spinning and charging up, and you hear this awesome sound, and you know you have a little bit of time before it's going to explode, and you have to take it out.
Oh look at my soldier being as
We have
useless
units
as
like
ever.
The slicers, which you guys have seen before, they're little, we call them the chickens, like little chicken snares. They run really fast. You know, we have a guy we're experimenting with right now who flies and drops these bombs that create these kind of
it's
ever-expanding
cancer,
smoke fields that
dude.
you have to escape from, but because they're super deadly. So you really get to use your mobility options to kind of escape that.
There's things like the Polar. You could be moving through these darker alleys, and as soon as you
Yo,
hear
look at
that
these
Polar
graphics,
spawn,
man.
it suddenly becomes like really spooky and kind of scary.
This very tall, elegant-looking character that's blindfolded, 3 orbs that circle around her as her eyes, and we basically spun those orbs around her head as a big tell, launched them at the player, and then it activates this tractor beam, and it's bringing you in, and then you get this awesome like anticipation of the hair opening up so you know what's about to happen.
One thing we've just recently been
Monka
experimenting
Giga.
with is this idea of elite units. We didn't want the elite units to feel like they're just, oh, this guy's got double health and double
Holy
damage.
dude.
We want to make sure the elite units feel like they have different behaviors and have different attacks.
In a lot of the stuff we've showed so far, you're fighting null sector. These are evil killing machines intent on marching you down. The way you're going to stop them is by shooting them, and we want to make sure that feels responsive and visceral. Really making sure that when they take a hit, it feels like their whole body has been
Yes,
punched, almost
sir.
like hit by
Yes,
a truck.
sir.
That's what really sells this fantasy that you're playing these superheroes. One of the cool pieces of technology that we created was what we call chain hit reactions. Oftentimes you'll find null sector bunched up, marching maybe a half a dozen units abreast. You expect if you shoot one, they're gonna knock into their buddies. So we made that happen.
Yo,
Turns out it's really fun too.
that is not in a lot of. That is in no game I've ever seen has done that.
One of the things that we showed last year at BlizzCon was the new looks for our heroes. The theory kind of going in was like, you want to preserve the essence of your hero, but also kind of show that that hero's evolved and kind of changed and moved forward. So we have a lot more new looks.
Arnold,
we're going to reveal
Give me some, Arnold.
Mccree's new look for
Come on
Overwatch
now.
2, as well as Pharah, and we're really excited to show off some of our first villains with Reaper and Widowmaker. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about technical wear, kind of like technical clothing. What that really is using very techie fabrics, as well as having very intricate but functional straps designed in a way that it's very aesthetically pleasing. With Mccree, we took a couple of different approaches that it's really hard to mess with, because if you try to make him too sophisticated or too techie, it might not feel right for the character. But as a concept artist, you always want to change things around and try different shapes and silhouettes. So we did identify as Red Serape as the main thing for Mccree. We also tried a couple different things with Mccree's cowboy hat. We didn't really want to mess with that too much, because that's a very iconic part of him.
Let's go.
So that's another piece that we kept. We tried some retro cowboy looks that mixed in some tech here and there. Some that were a little bit more techy than others, some that were a little bit more classic cowboy. We gave him a little bit of a longer beard. Reaper was actually the ones I was very excited to work on, because I could see a lot of potential in how we can integrate his cloak and his cowl and his armor, and how we can make all those shapes really sing within that classic, Reaper silhouette. We tried a couple takes with the first pass, like completely silver arms, more layers to his jacket. Reaper's mask is obviously pretty sacred to us, but the thing you'll notice immediately is that it's now completely silver. Instead of the bone white, he's got this almost like deadly edgy silver that just gives him that classic Reaper look. With Widowmaker, we started with the idea stage, exploring a breadth of ideas. We tried things like a more insectoid approach, treasure hunter. One of them made her feel like a classic Bond villain, so we kind of steered it back towards one of the more cyberpunk looking ones, almost like a futuristic femme fatale, which is basically what Widowmaker is, but she even feels more upgraded. So I'm super glad that we went down this route. We played with different hairstyles too. Widowmaker has the really long ponytail.
You didn't get your wish, dude.
And we really liked the hairstyle on one of the designs that was more braid, and it was really interesting look that also preserves Widowmaker's original silhouette with that long ponytail.
We've been working a lot with our domino engine and making our cloth look better. Now that we have this cloth tech, we're going to be able to make some really cool, unique silhouettes that will help them stand out from other heroes. We put a lot of time and effort into our face rig, and what I mean by that is we're gonna be able to get really close to these characters, and it's gonna feel really cool. It is absolutely worth the time and the effort to invest in the technology, and that way we can make these characters do more things that we haven't really been able to do before.
It's been super exciting working on the new looks for Overwatch 2. And
how old is Reinhardt? That man's like 800 years old.
Things that we've never tried before, and I just can't wait to show up more in the future.
How dark can the world of Overwatch go?
The different challenges that these characters are going to have to overcome in Overwatch 2 are things that they haven't ever dealt with before or dealt with on this scale. So what we had to do was literally strip it down to those bare bones of where are these characters in their lives. Overwatch has been disbanded, and now there's a situation where the world's in trouble again, and the world needs the heroes again, but they're not allowed to be doing what they were supposed to be doing.
We started to book these off-site locations so we could brainstorm over and over different versions of what the Overwatch 2 story campaign could be.
And we basically had these whiteboards that we were carting around everywhere.
The room was filled with whiteboards, and we would just write every day. Oh my gosh, we forgot this character.
We had these giant sticky notes,
Yo, these guys,
and each one of them would be a mission with a bunch of notes on it. You know, somebody say, well, what if we moved Rio to the end, and they'd physically grab it off the wall and stick it on the end.
And we did this for a while, until we all felt that it was pretty close to what we wanted.
Then we could send it to our writers' rooms. The writers' rooms then had a much clearer direction of where we wanted this process to go.
Ultimately, we come up with something that we think is right for the game. And then we pitch it back to the game team, and they point out everything that we missed.
And that allows us to actually back up and go and make it right and make it better.
Because the scale of this story is so huge, it takes place over the whole world, basically. It just requires a constant iteration, constant refinement to make the story as best as we can make it.
From writing,
I'm here
we
for
go to
it.
storyboards.
I'm here for it.
Storyboards get crafted with the edit. From there, it'll go to a previs department where they'll start to flesh it out in 3D. Once we've kind of figured out our camera work and our cinematography, that'll then go to the animation department. And then we end up going right into the game engine.
Zen can walk!
We got to show the Widowmaker making this awesome introduction. And Casey was able to quickly put a really rough prototype in Choreo. And Philip would come in and on the fly, he's making quick changes. They play tested something that would normally take weeks. It was done in like a matter of days.
Each story mission has its own custom map built for it. And these maps are absolutely gigantic.
India is one of our biggest maps, and it's a fun map because it has a few story beats that we've taken from recent comics and characters in the game.
We've written a history for each city so that the cities feel lived in. And I think that informs the artists so that they know like what it is that the city has been through.
Gothenburg was our chance to show Torbjorn's workshop. We created a space that kind of fits his height. So there's, step ladders and scalable tables. We designed the space as if we were Torbjorn. Molten steel is pouring out of walls. It's pretty epic when you walk into it. Toronto was under siege by Null Sector when the players arrive here. There's a dynamic snowstorm. So as you make your way through the level, the snow is slowly building up.
So we want to give you choice to be able to play this character or that character. So we're designing a lot of systems around how their relationships develop over the course of the story missions in the campaign.
We have a cast of many characters, all on screen, all at the same time. And it's fantastic to actually see them all interacting and working together in ways that we've never actually seen. We've always thought about it and hoped for it, but now it's actually happening.
It actually requires us to have a whole new branching dialogue system.
Dude,
if you
I'll
happen
pull
to
that one
have
out.
Genji and Mercy in the second mission of the game, you might get different dialogue that's about their relationship.
Our voice actors bring the characters to life in ways that everybody has fallen in love with, from inside Blizzard to the fans. Just to hear this collection of actors all together, all interacting, has been a real treat.
Hammer down!
I wish people could see how many people are involved when it comes to something like telling the story of Overwatch. It doesn't just come from a singular person, it comes from a group, and it's a really talented, fun group that all works together.
We've been developing what we hope is one of the best stories ever. There's some key story moments that I'm really excited about, and I really can't wait to see how people react to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In conclusion, all right.
We've been talking
Come on,
about
Big Daddy
the
Jeff.
game,
Give me some.
about this universe.
Give me
I know
some.
you all love it so much.
Right now, we can sit down and have a night of Overwatch 2.
Guys,
and
they
have
made
it
that
be
at
a
BlizzCon,
really fun
this, like, in a
experience.
day.
And I think
It's crazy.
We need some more time till we can say it's perfectly polished in the way that we want it.
We've made such incredible strides since we first announced this and showed it to the community at BlizzCon in 2019.
The thing that I'm most excited about is that moment when we hand the game over to the players.
We want to create something that really moves people, really touches people.
That's why we do it. We create the game because we want it to become part of your life and for you to experience it.
For Overwatch 2, we're upping the bar.
It's kind of 5 games in one. It's a huge undertaking.
The new tech and the new aesthetics for the new looks bring you closer to the characters that you love, and we're just getting started.
The fidelity of the gameplay experience is much richer.
We are making cinematics that push the boundary of what we can do to tell stories.
We want this dynamic world. We want things to feel alive.
Man.
I'm really looking forward to being able to expand the world of Overwatch for our players.
We're really trying to tell this epic story.
That India map is probably my favorite looking one. That one
great,
is
it
insane.
takes time, energy, collaboration.
We have just an incredibly professional team of designers and artists and engineers.
We just love bringing this world to you guys. So many cool characters. It's just a blast working on it.
Our goal is for Overwatch 2 to be the worthy successor to the first game, to be the next evolution, and to be a true sequel.
We have big plans, so thank you for sticking with us.
We're gonna cross the finish line, and I know it's gonna be awesome.
I hope people just end up loving playing it over and over.
That's what we want to try and capture. I'm jumping in, I'm playing, let's go be heroes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh my. Yo, 113,000 people are watching XQC right now. Insane, man. What do I think? So Overwatch 2, no due date. Little sad about that. I honestly think it's still gonna come out this year, but I'm thinking more like fall. I'm thinking like November of this year. Maybe October, November is what I'm thinking. I think the visuals looked fantastic. They showed a lot, but not showing too much, where it's like, okay, like what the heck are you guys doing? I wish they would have showed like 1 or 2 more heroes, new ones that we've never seen. That would have been like the cherry on top. And then there's like the one thing I would also say is like they got to give some like what happens to like Overwatch 1 now? Like, yeah, Overwatch 2 looks fantastic. The story mission, guys, I'm a PvE. Like, that's my background. PvE is my background. And a lot of people, like, especially new gamers now, they're like, oh, I only like PvE, like first person shooter. People like newer gamers, like newer generations of gamers, like they didn't grow up with like big PvE games. And all the new games that are out are like, you know, Valorant, Fortnite, you know, that wave of new generation of gamers, like that right there stopped a lot of like people wanting PvE. I blame Fortnite took gaming to the next level, but I also blame Fortnite for so many problems that it brought with it. I'm looking forward to the talent system. That brings a lot of nostalgia when I played World of Warcraft. Playing the old WoW, World of Warcraft used to have a talent system that it looked just like that. It looked super fleshed out. So I hope you're able to like be super diverse when it comes to picking what talents you have. What else? The new maps, India looks fantastic. I'm trying to think, like, what do you guys think about? I'm curious to see what other people say, because for me, I would love, like, if you balance it correctly, and I know Wacky brought up a good point with Destiny, but if you balance it correctly, like bringing in that weather environment, like video games, they don't have to be so one-dimensional, and with the gaming community, they do not like is change. Like, as a gaming community, people do not like change. When you're used to playing a game for X amount of years, Overwatch has been out for 5 years, people are like, oh, like if you throw in like sandstorms and winter storms and all that stuff and blizzards, people start freaking out. They're like, don't put it in the competitive. Blah, 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 blah. To me, I think that like it doesn't make the game. Like, imagine if that stuff is in gaming, not just in Overwatch, but just in gaming in general, consistently. You don't have a meta like GOATs for 1.5 years, and then your player base. Like, this is the thing: the player base in any game complains about a game being stale, and then when there's crazy new features like a sandstorm, a blizzard, volcanoes, I don't know, locust swarm, I don't know, literally anything, a poison gas storm, like people are like, oh no, it the PvP, blah 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 blah, and it's just like, oh man. And release date finally, you think it's this year?
No, there's no way, right?
I'm like, the fanboy me is like, I think October, November.
Maybe at the anniversary event. That would be like a huge time to do it.
Dude, that was oof.
Because when is it? It's 5th anniversary of Overwatch, right?
That's the summer.
That would be a good time. Yeah, and it's a summer because a PvE game takes grinding.
Damn, dude, I was trying to be like pessimistic and say like October, November, but you're saying already summer. Hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
If they do release it this year, it'll be then. Okay. If not, maybe around Christmas time. I think they're going to stay with the original release date that they did before, though, because for a game to be that big on launch, like at this point, like this release has to be good. If it's not good, they lose a lot. So they need to make sure
it's a make or break for sure.
And I'm fine to be patient about it because there's no other game that's really good. And YouTube content, there is still a lot to do, but people just kind of refuse to be creative about it. So
true, guys. I don't want to see any more videos of like stream highlights. That's like ZZZZ.
I think stream highlights are good. You need to do something else along with it.
Yeah, no. Stream highlights is supplemental. Shouldn't be the main thing.
Known for something.
Yeah, 100%
Your
agree.
thing, I think immediately Lorenzo, dude, merchandise, apparel, everything like future 100 Thieves kind of stream.
Let's
like
go.
That's what you're going for. Like I can see that immediately.
Yeah.
Sure, there's other people that do it, but it's definitely a very niche category and is a big money maker in esports. There's so much that you could do with that. There's so fucking much you could do, and I'm not the type of person to go into that. My thing, I don't even like. This is completely off topic, but it's like, they're like team play. There's a lot of stuff to be covered there.
Yeah, for sure.
And sure, my model is still a lot like ML7 and CarQ, but ML7 did like purely ladder and aim and mechanics. CarQ did like more macro understanding of the game. I'm trying to do a team-based thing.
No, oh no, I love it. The thing with your content, dude, I have some of my teammates in my chat, and I always just refer your videos to them.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, like
I always hear videos when they're recommended, so the marketing for you is good too. So.
I appreciate that. No, like man, keep doing it. Yeah. I'm using it with my team, and it's actually of value. That more perspective of that tier 3 grind is something that's gonna be massive. Even coming when Overwatch 2 comes out.
That's what I'm hoping. If Blizzard sees what we've been saying, the videos that have been made, if it somehow gets seen, and they've been talking in Contenders Discord, there's a bunch of like, if they listen, maybe it's good. But yeah, I appreciate you talking. And
yeah, man, thanks for inviting me, and I'm happy to talk in the future for sure. Woo, boys and girls, that was Paz_Overwatch. A lot of interesting hot takes there, guys. How do you feel about Overwatch 2 or just any other Blizzard title? What do you guys feel about the Overwatch 2? Alec, going back to your question, was there a big Overwatch 2 thing? Yeah, there's gonna be passives for every class. So like supports will get a passive, tanks will get a different passive, and then DPS will get a different passive. Like a TL didn't watch type of thing. Too long didn't watch. There's going to be more hero missions. There's going to be huge artwork revamps. What else, guys? My favorite map is going to be India, for sure. I think that's good. I've said it like 4 times on the stream. India looks fantastic. YouTube, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, please make sure to give this a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about Overwatch 2. I am so excited. The content that's going to be able to come out of this game, the PvE, the PvP, it's going to blow every FPS, and basically, I'm going to say it, every game out of the water. Blizzard came to play, guys. If you agree with me, please make sure to give this a like, a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.